frequencies and shit. I ate mine. Hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Got to eat them and treat them because we need them. All right. This is the second treatise, Matter and Nature of the Philosopher's Stone, right? Y'all ready? Where's my pens? I need a pointer. It just makes me feel fancy when I got a pointer. Eat them and treat them. That's the way to do it. Eat them and treat them. Don't beat them because you need them, right? Morinus says, you shall know that the whole work of this art ends in two operations hanging very close together, so that when the one is complete, the other may begin and finish, this perfecting the whole mastery, right? But as they only act on their own matter, it is necessary to give more particulars about it. Geber says in his Summa Perfections Magistry in Sua Natura that nature produces the metals. This is a book, right? Get it? Or a document, get it, right? The nature produces the metals from mercury and sulfur. But remember, when we're reading this, we're really talking about the alchemy itself, right? So don't confuse elements in the things they're talking about with anything other than with yourself, right? Put a 1 in the comments if y'all get what I'm saying, right? We're talking about self. Despite what you may hear, or despite what it may seem, we're talking about the alchemy itself, right? We're back on topic, y'all. This is what it all started off with. Alchemy has nothing to do with metals, for real. How so? Everything. All right. I didn't know this was a twist pin. Oh, there we go. All right. That nature produces the metals, right? Not the true essence of it. Okay. That nature produces the metals from mercury and sulfur, right? And to the same effect, we see Ferrarius speak in his treatise on alchemy in the 25th chapter that from the beginning of the origin of metals, nature also uses slimy, heavy water mixed with a very peculiar white sulfur. Wait, is this the right one? Hold on. Let me see something. Okay, yeah. I was making sure. All right. The 25th chapter, that from the beginning of the origin of metals, nature also uses slimy, heavy water mixed with the very peculiar white sulfuric subtle earth, which resolves the former into a steam and a vapor, right? And when you're looking at these different like alchemical, people left. Damn, they were like, nigga, we ain't trying to read. I can't stand it. But there were another thing you might see in like alchemical like images will be like wood burning and the steam and the vapor, like the steam coming up. That's supposed to represent the spiritual realm, right? But either way, let's keep going. Raises it in the veins or crevices of the earth and decocts, steams, and collects it together so long till at last dryness and moisture completely unite, right? Unification. Everybody put unite in the comments, right? All you parthenogenesis is whatever you're parthenogenites. Yeah, there we go. Unite, thereby forming the substance which we call mercury, which constitutes the peculiar and very first matter of all metals. And again, he treats of it in the 26th chapter as follows: those who will imitate nature are not to use mercury only, but mercury mixed with sulfur, but not the common mercury and sulfur, but those only which nature herself has mixed. Ooh, shout out to nature. You know what I'm saying? In order to unite, you had to start as an individual, a singularity. A singularity? We'll see. Ooh, we hitting goals and shit. Shout out to the original Haley J. We hit the goal. Let's go. Those who will imitate nature are not to use mercury only, but mercury mixed with sulfur, but not the common mercury and sulfur, but those only which nature herself has mixed. Beautiful. Well prepared and decocted in a sweet fluid. In mercury, nature has begun with primary action and ended in a metallic nature, having thus done her part, leaving the rest for art to complete her work into a perfect philosopher's stone. Beautiful. So the earth has put together all these amazing things, and we just work with what nature has left us in order to continue to create, right? Because we are gods and goddesses. And like Jesus says in the Bible, you will do greater works than me, right? So we have great works to do. And the philosophers called this art, the arts, right? You know what I mean? Because we're the magi, we're the wizards, the witches, the philosophers, the astronomers, the sages, all these different things is what we are, right? From the aforesaid, it will be seen that he who will proceed properly in this art shall, according to all philosophers, begin where nature has left off, and shall take that sulfur and mercury which nature has collected in its purest form, and which took place the immediate union, which otherwise cannot be accomplished by anybody without art. In order to receive the force that penetrates such subtle matter, some alchemists calcinate gold, that they may dissolve it and separate the elements until they reduce it to a volatile spirit, or to the subtle nature of the greasy fumes of mercury and sulfur. And this then is the nearest matter that combines most closely with gold, right? Hey, when y'all be up under the sun, what color y'all skin be shining? Like when y'all be up under the sun and the sun light hits you just right, what y'all be looking like? What y'all be looking like when the sun be hitting you? Ooh. Shout out to y'all, right? And receives the form of the occult philosopher's stone. This matter is called the mercury of the philosophers, about which Aristotle, speaking to Alexander the king, says, chose for our stone that wherewith kings are decorated and crowned. We all trying to get that crown back, right? We all trying to get that crown. That's what the balance is, right? Like I said, they give you Nubian, meaning golden people. Hey, peace, Morris Master Teacher. Salute to Morris Master Teacher. You know what I'm saying? I always give credit where credit is due. You dig? Um, like I told you, they separate us with things like blue and red, blood and crip, et cetera, et cetera. But blue and red come together and they make purple, violet, you know what I'm saying? And this is the crown chakra, right? So we're trying to bring these things together, unite them, a union, right? Which equates to being crowned again, right? A sovereign ruler of yourself. Wholeness. Though this mercury alone is a matter and the one only thing and a combination of other things, yet it is this thing so manifold in its effects and in its names that no one can find out the true meaning from the writings of the philosophers. And this is done for the purpose, as Rosina says, that everyone may not get at it. You know what I'm saying? This shit ain't for everybody, right? That's why we don't have 500 people in here, because this shit is not for everybody, right? A lot of people are earthbound. They're never going to want to hear this information, right? Because they're only focused on certain forms of information, but not all information. They don't want to know everything. They don't want to traverse the infinite bounds of wisdom. They find themselves complacent in their studies because they found a sweet spot. And they don't want to leave that sweet spot, because then you have to go somewhere and be a rookie again. But they don't want to have to be a rookie again. They want to stay a pro at what they know, or what they think they know. Because even in what they feel like they've mastered, there's infinite wisdom in that subject as well, right? For now, the philosophers say, dissolve the thing and sublimate it, right? Right? Raise to a high place. Sublimation, right? To lift up. Heat a solid into a vapor and allow it to cool again as a way of extracting pure substance from dross is from the 1600s, right? Remember, purified, refined by sublimation, right? Remember, we're talking about the alchemy itself. I just want y'all to keep remembering that. So despite whatever you hear, we're talking about ourselves, right? Aren't we trying to lift ourselves up spiritually, right? This is the art. This is the alchemy itself. This is the greatest work to ever be done, right? Where were we? Right? To lift it up, raise it up, and then distill it, coagulate it, bring it back together, make it ascend, make it descend, soak it, dry it, and ever up to an indefinite number of operations. You do this shit as many times as you got to do until you get that purity, right? The same thing with these steps in yourself, up and down, left and right, in and out, destroy, rebuild. You know, these things happen infinitely until you, but you're constantly striving to be better and better and better and better and better throughout your life, right? You can get to a place in your life where you feel like, damn, I've really made it. I'm fully healed. I feel good, right? Then boom, some shit happens. Now, it might not affect you as much as all that other shit, because a lot of times when we get to the point of feeling like, oh shit, it's really time to heal, right? A lot of times when we really get to that point, we're in our late 20s, 30s, 40s, and it's like, yo, I have to heal from a lifetime worth of shit, right? But then after you get to that point and you be like, all right, I made it. Now, as things happen in your life, you're more aware. So you handle these things a lot quicker than before, because it's not a whole lifetime worth of shit. It's just a situation now. And you've already done the work before. So now when you have to do it again, it's like, oh, we knocking this work out. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. You become less affected by the bullshit, right? You take what's necessary, you know what I mean? And you get rid of what's unnecessary. Just like, the first treatise was talking about. Remember, it was like, leave that shit behind, the unnecessary stuff. Y'all remember? I think it was superfluous. Wasn't it? Wasn't that the word? Right? Oh yeah, for anybody that's new here, we got a vocabulary list. I'm pretty sure this was the word that we looked up that mentioned like the excess fluids, right? The excess fluids when you're breaking shit down. Right, Copper? Yeah, Copper said, yeah, you know, Copper be listening. Shout out to Copper. I think she be taking notes and shit. I think Copper got a pen and a pencil and a notepad, right? All of which take place at the same time and in the same vessel. What is the vessel? And in this situation, you are the vessel, right? Alphidius confirms this and says, you must know that when we dissolve, we sublimate as well as calcinate without interruption. And if our corpus is being thrown into the water for the purpose of dissolution, it first turns black, right? Then separates itself, dissolving and sublimating. It unites itself with the spirit, which is its origin and birth. Ain't that what we doing? Ain't that what this whole shit is about? We become way too earthly all these earthly possessions and things, baggage and burdens, and we let that shit go. We reconnect with the spirit. We reconnect with our origins, right? As soon as we started getting into this information, we realized, oh shit, the thing that we have in common with the infinite is what? It has been compared as analogous to all things in the world, right? Visible or invisible, possessed of a soul or not, corporeal or animal, dead or alive, mineral or vegetative, right? Look at this. Analogous to the elements and their compositions, to things hot and cold, further to all colors, all fruits, all birds, and in short, to all things between heaven and earth. And among all these are belonging to this art, the aforesaid operations which are explained by the philosopher in two words, man and wife, or milk and cream. He who does not understand these does not understand the preparation of this art, right? Ain't we talking about talking about balance, y'all? Ain't we? What is that? What is that word? Analogous? Corresponding, proportionate, according to due proportions. Equal propriety. Equal. Man, I love how these things just come together the way that they do. I love how these things just come together like they do. What up, Rip? Don't y'all love when things just come together like they do? We will let people up after he. Oh yeah, yes, indeed. Thank you. Not really. All right. Y'all see how that shit goes? Right? Don't that sound like balance? That sounds like balance, right? And the whole thing was talking about these two elements. It was talking about these two different elements that you bring together and create wholeness, right? And in these two different things that it said nature has already provided the world. You continue the work with what was given already. Within those two things, it talks about man and wife. It says heaven and earth, man and wife. Balance. It said nature had already given us these things. What is nature? Nature is the infinite. Nature is God. Nature is the most high, right? Nature is whatever kind of God you believe in, but in its true form, right? It's the universe. It's the cosmos. It gave us these things, and with these things, we are able to continue the work. One of the ways we continue the work is we find our divine counterpart and we make babies, right? A divine connection, wholeness, a divine spark. You dig? Because the husband does the work, or well, let me not say husband and wife because I don't like those words. So the divine man and the divine woman do the work separately, and they meet each other after they've done this art, right? To do the alchemy itself, and then they come together, healed, loving, caring, balanced, and then they create a child out of a healed, caring, loving, balanced relationship, and that child is a divine spark of wisdom, right? Infinite wisdom. One of the reasons why this child is a divine spark of infinite wisdom is because epigenetics doesn't just take place after birth or during birth, it takes place before. The way you think, eat, read, drink, all those kind of things in your child's genetic makeup. All these things before conception. Before conception, right? So a lot of us are worried about, oh, don't play this music or don't do this while I'm pregnant. Peace, Michi. Don't do this while I'm pregnant. Don't do that while you're pregnant. You know, the men are telling the women, don't do this while you're pregnant. The women are saying, don't do this while I'm pregnant. But in reality, we should have also been thinking about what we were doing before these things even took place. Epigenetics, right? You've been creating your children before you even had sex, if that makes sense. You've been molding your children before you even met your divine counterpart, had sex, and created the baby. With the way you think, drink, act, the music you listen to, your environment, everything. It all plays a role. You even have late onset epigenetics. The baby get a certain age and you be like, I don't even know who this baby is. You might have fucked that baby up before y'all even met. It is science. True indeed, right? What was that word again, y'all? I keep forgetting. I want y'all to put it in the comments. We got new people in here, right? So we're talking about balance, true balance, right? That's what we're talking about. There we go, Supreme. Hey, shout out to Supreme. That's been my homie for a long time. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Supreme. I call him Supreme because he used to be named Supreme. You know what I mean? Then he had a spiritual awakening, and now he has, I don't know what the hell his name is now, but I like it. Hey, tap the screen, everybody. We done hit the give. Hey, look, this is the Cosmic Couch. You know what I'm saying? So we take our time. I love music, but I'm trying to set a tone, right? Because I don't want y'all to respond to this information based on trauma. We all deal with trauma, but, you know, we're doing the alchemy of self. We're healing. You know what I'm saying? So when we come into these conversations, these environments with each other, and we're nation building, we're supposed to be able to have these conversations based on a healed perspective, a building perspective, not a destructive perspective. And a lot of times when I hear these conversations, the conversations are built based on destruction. How to destroy the men. You know what I'm saying? That'll never be the solution. There will never be a way that we will get on panels together, get in rooms together, get on stages, and make our goal to blame each other into righteousness. It's not about to happen. Ever. Happiness is when you really feel good about somebody. So in order for us to nation build, we got to really feel good about each other, right? So when we have these conversations, they need to be healthy conversations. We can't be speaking out of like our alter ego. Your ego is what allows you to recognize yourself as an individual, right? But your alter ego is what is created through all these different circumstances that take place in your life. But when you start to really heal, you let go of your alter ego and you operate in your ego to realize who you truly are. And then once your ego allows you to see who you truly are, you're able to go back into the world, the collective, as a healed individual and become a part of the collective consciousness again without destroying everybody around you. I'll be good to you. Woo! We'll be together. Come on, y'all, tap the screen. I know y'all love it here. I love it here. Walk away with victory. Come on, man. And I know y'all want to get on a little bit of the playlist. You know what I mean? I'm still figuring that thing out. You feel me? Dang. Just don't make y'all. Just don't. It's always funny hearing the cancer. Hey, you feel me? Just don't remind y'all of when y'all used to like hang out at your grandma's house when y'all were young. Remember, y'all were young and all the old people used to be playing dominoes and spades and shit, and you were running in and out the house until somebody like, you better not run in and not out. You know what I'm saying? You either in or you out. You know what I'm saying? And don't let my screen door slam. Y'all don't remember that shit? Hey, look, I only try to bring y'all this form of truth because I love y'all. And I know that we just go around beating each other up, and it's not even because we want to. It's just like second nature at this point. You know what I'm saying? A bunch of people down here in the normal world just hurting. And since we all hurting, we got to hurt somebody else so we can have a temporary reprieve from our own pain. I get it. I hope y'all dancing a little bit. If y'all sitting down, I know y'all know how to. I know y'all know how to chair dance. I know y'all over there chair dancing. You know what I'm saying? You can still, shake a little bit in your chair. Get comfortable. All right, let's see what we got. You know what I mean? What is this? Ooh, there is no scientific proof that healthy parthenogenesis births have ever happened, right? In a natural full body parthenogenesis, right? Which is known as the virgin birth, right? While parthenogenetic activation of human eggs occurs spontaneously, resulting in non-viable embryos or tumors, ovarian teratomas, it is generally considered impossible for humans due to genomic imprinting, right? The barrier, mammals, including humans, require both maternal and paternal genes for proper embryonic development due to a process called genomic imprinting, which makes natural parthenogenesis impossible. I know, but your ancestors told you that it happens. Your ancestors were like, fuck science. It happens. Right? Now, what I want to tell you is a lot of y'all don't even know how much of a contradictory statement you make when you say that parthenogenesis took place, right? Because scientists will tell you that you came from monkeys, and you'll be like, no, we didn't. We didn't come from monkeys. But in order for parthenogenesis to be a real thing, you've had to have come from monkeys. So everybody put a 1 in the comments that thinks parthenogenesis is a real thing. And I want to see how many of y'all put 1s in the comments who I've also seen other places say that you didn't come from monkeys or apes, right? So let's put the 1s in the comments, everybody, because in order for parthenogenesis to have been a real thing, you would also have to have come from those apes that you've been telling everybody you don't come from. Uh-oh. Oh, it's getting quiet. It's getting real quiet. Where'd those 1s go? There was a bunch of them. Hey, Supreme. How many 1s was it, Supreme? You've been in here the whole time, right? There was a whole bunch of 1s earlier. Where'd they go? Y'all are still in here. I see y'all. I'm looking through the views. Y'all are still in here, so why ain't there no more 1s in the comments anymore? There was at least 15 1s. Oh, everybody want to be quiet now. Oh, shit. Your ancestors told you that it happened, right? I said the woman came first. Nothing about... Yeah. There we go. There we go. There we go. All right, hold on. Let me not give y'all too much too fast, right? Now watch this. We're going to go into the science, right? Because there is a hypothesis. I'm not going to hold back, right? Now there's some key words that I want us to focus on. These are all words that y'all hate when y'all get into y'all spiritual realms, right? Y'all don't like this word, right? Right? Ain't that one of the words that folks don't really fuck with? they're cloning the famous people. There's clones in the tunnels. But you're saying that, so I guess they stole the cloning concept from you, right? This is really important. All right, so let's break this down, right? Let's talk about it. Oh, by the way, this is from PubMed, National Library of Medicine, right? For all you parthogenites, parthogenites. That's what I'm gonna start calling y'all, parthogenites. Shout out to the parthogenites in the building. Parthogenism. That's that shit. Parthenogenesis, right? Parthenogenesis is an asexual reproduction in which a female can produce an embryo without fertilizing an egg with sperm. In Greek, it means the virgin creation, right? It occurs naturally in some jawed vertebrates, such as the whip-tailed lizard. But in mammals, it is an unnatural event. However, PG, which is parthenogenesis, PG, may not be a rare event in humans as we thought, but it may occur spontaneously, resulting in the formation of teratoma in the ovary, right? Words or spells and curses, y'all. I'm back. Oh, now Copper's back. Oh, everybody left. Now they back. Wait a minute. Hold on. Because a lot of people are like, I'm back now. There's a whole bunch of people that left. Oh, it was glitching. Okay. It was glitching, y'all. I get it. Hey, put a one in the comments if you can hear me. Apparently shit is glitching. Right when it started getting good, you know how TikTok does. Right? But in mammals, unnatural event. However, PG, right, may not be rare in humans as we thought, but it may occur spontaneously, resulting in the formation of teratoma in the ovary. The secondary oocyte, SO, which is ovulated at each ovarian cycle using stops in metaphase 2 until it is fertilized by the sperm, right? Once the sperm enters the oocyte, right, the egg completes meiosis to form the ovum, whose nucleus fuses with the sperm nucleus to form the zygote. This process is called sexual reproduction. However, under idiopathic abnormal circumstances, a spontaneous exit of the oocyte from metaphase 2 could occur without apparent stimulation. This is known as oocyte spontaneous activation. Such spontaneous parthenogenetic activation may occur in human oocytes, but mostly leads to tumor formation, including ovarian teratoma. OT. Everybody put OT in the comments, right? Not out of town, but ovarian teratoma. You know what I'm saying? They used to say, I'm going OT, and it meant like going out of town. But now we're talking about OT as in ovarian teratoma. Everybody put OT in the comments. Words are spells and curses, right? Remember that. Remember that. Maybe we'll prove it today. Some authors postulate that PG, right, parthenogenesis, occurs in humans, though through the formation of OTs 2, 6, 7. However, they did not explain how this could happen, right? Now, let's get into something real quick, right? Let me see something. Let me see something real quick. This, I think it gets interesting. All right. Damn, I hate how my thing be looking up there. Teratoma can be either benign or cancerous, right? Or malignant cancerous, right? While they often contain mature, fully formed tissues like hair, muscle, or teeth, their cancer risk depends on maturity and location. Mature teratomas are usually benign, whereas immature teratomas are more likely to be malignant. The benign versus malignant, right? Most teratomas, especially in children, are benign. However, they can grow rapidly and cause health issues. Immature teratomas, these are more likely to be cancerous as they contain immature cells that resemble an embryo, right? So words are spells and curses, and when we speak certain things, we speak it onto ourselves, right? So OT would be an ovarian tumor, ovarian cancer, but everybody wants to be a parthogenite. Whatever. Hey, look, I digress. Let's keep on. Let's keep on moving, right? Can it turn into a child? No, cannot turn into a child, right? It's a tumor arising from stem cells that develop alongside a fetus, often on the tailbone, right? Or the neck. These tumors can grow very large, sometimes as big as the baby, and can contain tissue like hair, teeth, or limbs, like we just read, right? But they lack the organized structure to become a functional human, right? Teratomas originate from germ cells. These are germs that failed to differentiate properly during fetal development, often resulting in tissue from all three germ layers. They are present at birth, congenital. They can contain hair, teeth, and all that other shit, right? Nasty, right? Teratomas are generally considered closer to mature, wait, closer, dang, get that shit out the way. What does that say, y'all? Closer in nature to parasites or specialized disorganized tumors than to fully formed independent human fetuses, right? So teratomas are closer to parasites, nature, than humans. With the latter, while they can contain organized tissue, right? And even brain tissue, they are classified as neoplasms, tumors that lack a proper body plan, no functional spine or brain, and cannot survive independently, right? Teratomas are tumors arising from pluripotent germ cells that grow uncontrollably. Unlike a human fetus, which develops in an organized, controlled manner, they lack the necessary coordination or coordinate structure to be considered a human being, right? Now, the organized Now, the exception, fetus and fetu, right? Anybody, fetus and because remember they said debating if parthenogenesis is possible in humans. Share your thoughts. AI, you fucking around with these folks, right? Okay. Watch this, y'all. Never heard of fetu or however you spell it. All right, look, fetu or however you spell it. IF, right, is an extremely rare developmental abnormality, 1 in 500,000. Rare parasitic twin is found inside the body of its normally developed sibling, usually discovered inside the body of abdominal mass in infants. It results from an early embryological accident in twins. 9 and treated via surgical removal. Sort of like what surgical remove. It's a parasite in whatever sense you want to what you want, right? A specific type of mature teratoma known as the fetus and fetu is sometimes described as a parasitic twin. It is a rare, highly differentiated vertebral column or some degree of body symmetry. However, this entity is usually considered an extreme. Shout out to to y'all. You know, shout out to all the women that are running around talking about this is what they do. All the women across the world through their ego, right? Shout out to y'all. You know what I mean? I love it. Amazing, right? Words are spells and curses, right? So if words are spells and curses, we got to watch the way we talk about ourselves, talk to ourselves, and talk to each other, and the things that we wish upon ourselves and on each other, right? So when we talk about this concept right here, and we're shitting on our divine counterparts, right? We're shitting on nature. We're shitting on holism, and we're pushing this rhetoric to everybody. I wonder if it's also manifesting tumors and cancers within women through the frequency and vibration of words being spells and curses. Because you can't say, oh, you know, I'm changing my vocabulary because I come to find out that a kid means a baby goat, or a kid means, you know, a slave, and I'm changing my words because this means that and this means that. And then you find out that parthenogenesis is really related to tumors and ovarian cancer. I highly doubt that. Yeah, I know. I get it. You know what I'm saying? I get it. Hephaestus is an important character in many myths. In one version of his ejection from Olympus, he took his revenge on his mother by fashioning a beautiful golden throne for her. But when Hera sat on the throne, she could not stand again. Right? Uh, Hephaestus refused to release her, saying, I have no mother. Finally, the god Dionysus plied Hephaestus with wine, coaxed the lame god back to Olympus, and convinced him to release Hera from the throne. Look how fast they reneged. They did renege real quick, huh? Everybody was kung fu. Everybody was all about that parthenogenesis until I started reading about it, and then they're like, wait a minute, I don't believe in that shit. Right? So this god right here, right, was thrown off a mountain. He is supposed to be a god that was created through parthenogenesis, right? And he was deformed. They threw him off Mount Olympus, right? But it was two things that happened out of imbalance. One, well, let's read it. Let me see if I can find it. Interestingly, his parentage is not absolutely settled in Greek mythology. In some versions of the story, his parents are Zeus and Hera, right? Balance, the king and queen of Olympus. But in other myths, Hephaestus is the son of Hera alone. She gave birth to him via parthenogenesis, right? This is where people really got the shit from, without intercourse with Zeus, right? The same shit with Jesus and all these other stories, the same concepts, but it's really not even what people think it is, right? Or anyone else, because she was angry that Zeus had formed Athena from his own mind, right? So even in the concept of where people really got this from, it wasn't just women creating things. There was a masculine energy creating things too. So the woman formed a baby, Zeus formed a woman, right? So when these people talk about all this parthenogenesis and all that bullshit, right? Why don't they bring up this other concept of Zeus forming a woman with his own from his own entire mind, right? In these mythologies, right? When all these people that say they didn't come from monkeys say they believe in parthenogenesis, how can both be true? How can you not have came from a monkey, but you also participated in this? And parthenogenesis is directly connected with coming from monkeys in evolution. See, people just be around saying stuff. People just say anything, right? And it's not because it's true. It's not because they really none of that shit. They're only saying it because the world has been in a what about parthenogenesis from a galactic creation point? Why would that be the case? Paris, come on now. Tell me where in the whole entire galactic cosmos is there not the masculine and feminine principle? I'm not talking about like the earthly view of this shit. Tell me where there's not a masculine and feminine principle in the cosmos. And and then we can be like, all right, this nigga said I'm standing on parthenogenesis. I, I, I hope you're playing, man. This shit is a joke, man. I'm telling you. All right. So what is the birth of Jesus is supposed to immaculate, right? Because people don't immaculate conception, right? Is free from mental or moral pollution. Is pure, right? That's what it meant. Free from sin. It didn't mean. It did not mean that there was no man and woman. It just meant the birth of a pure child. Now, how do you have the birth of a pure child? I'll tell you. In a balanced man and a balanced woman come together and they created a divine spark, which would be a child that's born into purity. Be a child into purity, right? Free from sin to the parents, free from the ills of the parent because the parents created this child in a pure state. This shit it ain't even that hard. This shit it ain't even that hard. Debating the AI, shout out to you, debating the myths of parthenogenesis and its connection to cancer. The myths of parthenogenesis. The same people that'll make fun of you for saying you came from an for saying that for saying you came from an for saying from a star. Well, they'll believe in their own myths. They believe in a cancerous tumor in their ovaries being the formation of a child. At the same time saying they didn't come from monkeys. Well, at the same time saying evolution is a lie. But parthenogenesis requires evolution because if at one time it was women having babies by themselves, something had to evolve into something else. And then when you go read the feminist book, the feminist handbook, The Great Cosmic Mother, it even in that book it tells you. Even in The Great Cosmic Mother, the feminist handbook, right? It tells you. that believes in evolution. Do I enjoy the book? Yes. With discernment, with great discernment, I enjoy the book a lot. Let me see if I can find it. Somebody's been lying, right? Here we go. Let's get into this shit real quick. Because I know this is like the feminist, this is the feminist she woman man hater club book, but I do enjoy it. When it's broken down correctly, it's kind of enjoyable, right? When you take out, when you remember that it was written by a feminist who believes in evolution, then you get to some of the truth, right? It'd be funny. I don't believe woman was having babies by herself, but like I said, I believe we was here first. So what do you mean? What do you mean you were here first? Like as in like there was an airplane or like a no, I'm not trying to be rude, but like let's say for instance, me and you were traveling somewhere and you're just saying like you got there first and then I showed up independent of you but just a little bit later. You know what I mean? Is that what we're saying? Like I stated, when we came in our physical form, the woman was first. Create created you. Created created you out of what? What like what source? Her own DNA. So cloning? So the cloning process? Hmm. These things are interesting, right? So it does talk about clones. Everybody's anti-cloning until it's like let's make women something other, let's make women something else. So now cloning is good, right? So first cloning was bad. Now cloning is good because it gives women like a power, right? Right. But this is all the science said if parthenogenesis was a real thing, it would be a cloning process. Oh no, I'm just talking about parthenogenesis because when if you say women came first, I just feel like it had to be like people were traveling. People were traveling and y'all just got here first. Sexual reproduction, which enhances the variety and health of the gene pool, is necessary for the kind of complex evolution that has produced a human species. Right? So if you believe in this, you also believe in this, and you also believe in evolution. Go and ask, go talk to the people, go talk to the people that really push this stuff. And I bet you they'll all say that this book empowered them. This book is one of the key books. I know it. I've been in the rooms. I've listened to the conversations. They all love this book. I believe that this is a great book once you get past this stuff and once you get into just like women being great in general, like in normal instances in relation to the world, it gets really good, you know? But it's cool, you know. But Bible believers believe man. No, you know, I think that's foolishness too. I believe it's all foolishness. I believe there's a divine masculine and feminine energy that exists in the cosmos, and just as it exists in the cosmos, it exists on Earth. And I believe anybody that tries to say that either one is right or first is trying to limit the infinite to a gender. And I think that is kind of a crazy thing. Everywhere I've gone, everywhere I've researched, everywhere I studied said balance, 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 balance equals wholeness. Even in the cosmos. Balance of two energies. I even talked about it in my book. I said, I'll never get into the argument about who came first. I can see a benefit for both. You know, I can see how either one could work. But I also know that it's really just a balance thing. But all I wanted to point out is parthenogenesis belief requires evolution. Don't you got two energies in you, Helly? I got two energies in me. We all got two energies. You know what I mean? Masculine and feminine, right? So if we were made in the image, we would be made in the image of these two energies. So that means before any physical form, before there anything came together, it would have been these two energies. And then they came together to be balanced. And then we were made in the image of this balance. There's a difference between the principles of masculine and feminine and then our earthly view of man and woman. It's not the same. But feel free to join the panel if you want to talk about it. I don't want to like make it a debate or anything, but I don't mind hearing people's points of views. You know what I'm saying? I'm not too sure who Duckster is.
Peace, peace, God. What's going on?
Peace, peace. How you doing?
Hey, I don't know, man. Like, if need be, I would go to the comment section because I don't want it to get too spicy. You feel me? But you definitely cooking. You feel me? And everything you speaking on are basically the same rules that apply in nature. You feel me? Like we can't act like our science comes from anywhere else but nature.
That's all I did.
You know, and if nature don't particularly do that, then we can't either. You know,
Where don't lizards and shit do that?
yeah,
Like, isn't it other things in nature that does that?
no,
So
I
if we're
mean,
gonna speak on
definitely.
nature, then you gotta speak of nature in a whole.
I know.
But go ahead.
So that means we got to claim that reptilian
Well,
part
now,
of us.
well,
If
now
that's
That
going to
don't
be the case,
mean you have to claim that reptilian. That mean that was
exactly.
something that you created.
The sun
Your
is
creation is
the
not of
sun
you.
impregnates them.
Your creation is not of you. Your creation is just
hold
something
on.
that you created.
Let's keep it cordial, y'all. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
When I was reading the science, it said lizards do it, but it said as far as mammals, nah, right? But even if you're saying, well, lizards do it, that still takes it back to there had to be some kind of evolution taking place, even in humans.
I do want to add this real quick. Not all lizards or reptiles do it. You know, we got to be specific with the
Oh, it's the
certain ones that do
Exactly.
it. Because if you look at snakes don't do it. Turtles don't
Yeah, they
do it.
do. Yeah, the python. The python does it.
The python is probably one of only, but they
It's
still
about the only one.
but,
Yeah, python got hip bones, so it's something different.
But what I'm saying is that the python can mate with the male, or it can do it. And when there's no males around, then the snakes, the female body adjusts itself to reproduce because of survival of the fittest. But not all reptiles do it. Me personally, I don't feel like that this would be a healthy topic because people is confusing energies with gender. So when we say that divine feminine, when we say divine feminine is first, that could be a man who's living in a divine feminine. We don't know, So saying who comes first and who came second, that's kind of a redundant topic. We both here now. So what are we gonna do? That's how I'm looking at it. But
Look, I just want you to know, Los, I agree wholeheartedly with that. You know what I'm saying? And my stance on it is, I don't even think it was a who came first thing. I think we, however we formed, it was a natural occurrence, and we sprung from either the stars or the ground, wherever we came from. But it wasn't like a man first, a woman first. It wasn't like, oh, a whole world full of women popping out clones. It was either we sprung from the soil, naturally occurring like nature does, or we came from the stars, naturally occurring like nature does, as divine feminine and masculine energies, and we formed into whatever what we got going on now.
Yeah, and I feel like that two truths can exist. Some of us probably came from the stars, some of us probably came from the clay. You put two and two together, stars and clay, you get humans or whatever we want to call ourselves. So, facts. I mean, I personally believe that we came from the soil, straight from the dirt. The creator is strong enough to make man and women at the same time simultaneously. Y'all got to stop limiting the creator. You know what I'm saying? Well, if I was a creator, my power is unlimited. I can make man and woman at the same time, and I could throw y'all a child in there at the same time and tell y'all to go be fruitful and multiply. You dig what I'm saying? So, let's not get way out there that we just stop thinking about biology and realness. Because sometimes, we'll go way left, and then we end up on Mars some damn where talking about that we evolved from aliens and shit.
Okay, so you just said we'll go off of biology, right?
Hold on, Haley,
So
one
don't
second.
you have nipples that you can't use?
Well, if we're going off
Like,
of
why would the creator give you
if
that?
we well
Like, if you want to believe that you came from
if
a
we're going
creator,
off about if we're going off of
and then
biology,
you
if
stated
we're
that
going hold
because
on,
they all don't do it, we can't, like, you can't take away from what one thing can do because they all don't do it. We all not supposed to be doing the same thing anyway.
well, if we're going off of biology, the man determines the gender of the child. So if this world was full of
He
women,
actually doesn't.
if
What?
the man do the man could
He
the man
doesn't.
do control
He does not
the
know. The
gender.
woman does.
No, the
The
women
man,
Man,
don't.
y'all don't.
The
Y'all are
men
literally a
control the
broken
gender.
X chromosome.
yeah, y'all don't produce anything concerning the child other than fertilizing it. The woman determines the gender.
No, they don't. The man
Yes,
determines the
they do.
gender.
And
That is
everybody is a
science.
female. Everyone is a female fetus until
No, it
the
said
No,
second.
they're not.
phenotypically.
A fetus don't have a
Looks
gender, y'all.
phenotypically
Oh
feminine.
my
That means
God.
it looks feminine because there's nothing down. It has no gender.
A
It is
fetus
not.
don't
It
have
is
a
a
gender
gender.
yet.
It is a female.
Science says this, y'all. Science says this. Because a
I
man
studied
has
it.
both. A man
Y'all
has
talking to
both.
someone who went to school for this.
We
Talking to someone who actually literally went.
we all took a
No,
biology
I get
class.
it, but
So
hold on. Let me
what
say.
I'm
Let me
saying,
finish
okay,
my
but hold
thought
on, hold on, hold on. What I'm saying is
because
because
I didn't get a chance to finish.
I get
Go
that.
ahead.
What I'm because I'm trying to answer to Haley first because she replied. So what I'm saying is biology
It's
wise,
heavy.
the
It's
man is
heavy.
born.
Heavy,
The
heavy.
man
Not
is
heavy.
born with the man is born with the X and Y chromosome. When we produce sperm, we produce millions of sperm. One set of sperm is X, the other side is Y. If the Y chromosome meets the woman's egg, which is a what? X, you get a boy. If the X sperm meets the X chromosome, which is the egg in the woman, you get a female. So when you talk about the fetus, if my X chromosome meets the woman's X chromosome, then the fetus is going to be a woman regardless, because that's how it's going to genetically create. But if my Y meets the woman's X, then the fetus is going to turn into a boy. The men do control the gender because we carry both X and Y, and the woman carries XX. So it all depends on which one of my sperm cells meet your eggs first to create a man or a woman. That's literally biology. Now, you using nipples and shit. Nipples don't mean that a person used to be a woman. Everything got nipples. Trees got nipples and shit, I'm pretty sure, at the roots. You know what I'm saying? But you're comparing yourself to another thing in nature, which is lizards and shit, which ain't got nothing to do with us as so-called mammals. Mammals don't parthenogenesis at all.
So now your guy made you a mammal, started you off as a mammal.
I'm using mammal as layman's terms so everybody can understand. Yeah. So that's why I said mammals for layman's terms, because that's what we understand in this matrix.
I mean, yeah,
I have never referred to myself as a mammal.
I mean, you got the word mama in it.
Whether you refer to yourself or not as a mammal, scientifically, you are a mammal because you don't lay eggs.
Because you lactate.
Like reptiles.
You lactate. Anybody that, any species that lactates or gets breastfed is a mammal. Like even a whale, whales breastfeed underwater. They're still mammals.
You said you came out your mother, right? I came out my father because my father had to ejaculate inside my mother, and then I ended her womb, and then I incubated into a baby.
The man does not carry the seed. No, it does not, Los. The man does not carry the seed.
Our sperm is literally called the seed.
It is not.
Our sperm is literally called the seed.
The only person that carries a seed is the woman. The
egg and the seed is not the same thing. Y'all carry eggs. We carry seeds.
And our egg is the seed.
The egg is not the seed.
So, no, watch this.
It is so.
Hey, watch this. Watch this.
The egg is the seed. The sperm is the fertilizer of that seed.
So watch this. So watch this.
The egg is the seed.
So watch this. But testicles in Spanish is called huevos. Huevos means eggs. So men have eggs too. You want to go there? Yeah, we got huevos.
Peace, everybody. Peace, everybody.
The sperm is not
the sperm is a fertilizer. When you're growing a flower, you don't.
It's just a fertilizer. The woman carries the seed. Her egg is the seed. She's born with her seed, and all the seeds she'll ever need. Her.
Hey, I just
do y'all even know where the placenta come from?
Please let me finish. Every time I start talking, I get cut off. And I go on mute and let y'all talk, please.
And now we don't. Hey, wait, hold on. Hey, all right, hold on. We don't need to reset, but everybody.
We don't.
Hold on. We're gonna talk one at a time. And just have self-control. We ain't in no rush, so everybody should be allowed to finish their statements.
I'm just fucking with y'all.
A woman carries the egg, which is the actual seed, which is why you cannot reproduce even in nature without the female. And also, if you really study biology, you would also know that the reason why men have nipples and they also have the medium, which is the line that goes up the middle of your balls, because you don't have two balls, you got one, and you got that line because that's what a vagina would have been if you was going to be a female, and you got the nipples because you was going to be a female, because all fetuses are female before the 7 weeks. That is something that's in biology. It's not wrong.
Wrong.
Then I need to go back and tell you Wilmington University that I need my damn money back.
Yeah, you do, because schools are what?
Because it's not
indoctrination.
It's not. Like I said,
we learned at school indoctrination, and they don't teach us real shit.
Y'all, Rashaud is talking. Rashaud is talking.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
So I want to, we can have this conversation, but one thing, come on, Copper, we can't do that. That's a fallacy to say that.
No, that's not a fallacy.
Wait, hold on. You know what I'm saying? To say that your degree means that you got the answer is a fallacy. We know this.
No, that's not what I said. I said I need to get my money back because obviously my degree failed me, is what I said.
But we already know that these schools.
Yeah, they failed a lot of people.
You know what I'm saying? But if we're talking about biology, a woman's egg, right, is not a seed. It's a
Oh my
gamete
God.
that requires fertilization to develop, right?
Yeah, they're the soil.
The ground, that's the soil, exactly. But what
Yeah.
I wanted to say is, what in nature doesn't exist? Like what I'm saying is, if something in nature happens naturally, that means that it always has been. Like the wind. When does the wind end? You get what I'm saying? If it's in nature, that means that it's eternal.
Which means that it's impossible to know which one comes first because we
There's no, yeah,
wasn't there.
you can't prove an end or a beginning. That means it has to be eternal. You got to do basic deduction. You can't just take what these people tell us because they indoctrinate us. You got to use your own rational brain and understand that, or comprehend that if something's in nature and it's in existence, that means that it can't end.
No, Lola. Even according, all right. So when the Bible says the woman's seed, right? Genesis 3:15, it talks about the seed of the woman, right? It's only talking about the miraculous birth of Jesus. It's not talking about anything else. But we know that the immaculate conception just means purity. It does not mean that she didn't have sex. It's really is the Bible's bullshit with you, right? You know what I'm saying? And the seed is only called a seed because it's been fertilized. That's it. A fertilized, developed ovule. You know, then you consider these things to be a seed. But but it's not the woman's seed as in like this is the seed, right? There's a difference. The sperm is the seed that fertilizes the egg. It is what it is. You know, like that's why these conversations do get dangerous, because in order to try to prove certain things, you have to take. So it can't be like, to find balance is the solution. But when you want to prove one side to be right, one side to be wrong, the only way you could truly do it is to take from the other side, right? In order to prove a point. But these things are not righteous or virtuous. It's not the case. A woman's egg contains 50% of the genetic material needed to create a human. So where's the other 50% at?
Right.
I
I'm
mean,
just saying, how
you
does a
know,
God have a start
it's
point?
half wet and half wet. You know, this is crazy. We all come from the soil at some point, and we was not born externally, which is the outside. So everything came from within. So again, you know, like one of y'all stated, um, is half female and half male, and I don't believe it's a male determination of the gender or the female determination of the gender. It's just whatever chromosome connect, whatever type of the X connects with the Y. I believe what's his name? Science said it right, but it's not no such thing as, oh, the man determined the gender or the female determined the gender. It's whatever chromosome connects with the other chromosome.
Facts.
Look, all I want to say is, if you a God, you can't have a start point
Hold
and
on, Rip.
origin.
Hold on, Rip. Rashaud was saying something.
Oh no, all I was saying, and before what signs and oh shit. My fault. I was trying to find a page, but before what signs and Miss Lanes was saying, like before that part happens, all children are they're indifferent. So it's
Right.
not. It starts out as a woman and becomes that shit. These are all not true. Every infant starts out indifferent, and then it becomes something. It's not that it's a woman first, and it's a deformed woman. Like all that hateful rhetoric of men are just what do they be saying? Deformed. You know, men are just deformed
Mutations
women.
and shit.
So if you look at the fetus, right, when that because you know they put the microscope little scientists, do you see a gender, or do you just see like it look like a tadpole at the bottom? So they all start as just a little natural little human being, you know, with no gender. So as they finish forming, you know, the X and the Y, or the X chromosome, that's when it starts telling you who what they pull from each parent, from each gene. So I still don't. It's not no the dad choose what the baby was or the mom choose what the baby was, because like he said, I care half and he cares half, and so the ex the I can't even talk. I'm riding, y'all. The genes has to connect. It could be an XX or a YX. It can't be nothing other less.
I don't know what happened to her, but exactly. So what was done to for us to be in existence between the two positive and the negative? That has to be eternal. There can be no like manipulation in that. Energy cannot be destroyed. If you are a god, you don't have an origin point. You get what I'm saying? Like this is only eternal. That's all it can be is eternal, because you can't pinpoint an end day, you can't pinpoint the start date. So you can only go with rationally is this always been. Meaning that what we do to keep making life is what we always have done to create making life, to keep making life. Like there can't be no deviation in that. I mean, that ain't even alchemy. If you start changing the recipe up, like what in the world? It got
Hey,
to be
wait, hold
balanced.
on, Rip. Hold on, Rip. Hey, Miss Lanes, you got dropped because you admitted to be driving while you're on the live. So once you park or something, feel free to come back up. But once you say that on the panel, you know, you gotta go. You know what I mean? We don't want nobody getting hurt just to say a few things.
But your energy cannot be destroyed. So that means energy does not have an end date. That means it can't have a beginning date. You can't create energy. It's always been. That's what I'm saying. Anything in nature is eternal. It's always been in existence. They fooled everybody, but telling everybody, oh, you have this start date, you have this end date. That's the bottle that the genie's in. It creates boundaries.
Yeah. I'm just saying too, though, just to lighten the mood, you know what I mean? You know, for the man to just bring the spark, there's a lot of women who look like they daddies. I'm just
Yeah,
saying.
I mean that spark is called electricity. Like, what would we be without it? That's the energy that we talk about can't be created nor destroyed.
And a lot of niggas look like they mamas. So
Hey,
Yeah,
whatever.
finesse two times. That's about
Just
it.
equally,
Hey, look,
exactly. Yep.
that makes a lot of sense though. Like electro and magnetic, like the electric spark, the magnet egg, the electromagnetic.
Exactly. Negative and positive, male and female. They scared of it.
Yeah, it's too. It makes too much sense for there just to be balance. People say we're gods and goddesses, but then they try to say that we couldn't come here as gods and goddesses as we are. There had to be something that created the other, but we couldn't just be divinely just divine as we got here for whatever reason that we are here.
Oh,
Exactly. How
sorry.
does a god have an origin? That's all I'm saying. But that's all I wanted to say. Peace, peace. Is food for thought.
But Helly said something in the comments that was ignored by all but me. And like she said, just because you have male and female, that's a balance. But no one said that female still didn't come before male or one didn't come before the other. People think, oh, because you didn't come here at the same time. Well, we can't say that just because both didn't come at the same time, there's not still balance. You could still have balance even if one came before the other. Nobody responded to that comment she put in that when she put that way back when in the comments. And I have to agree with her on that one. Just because one might have come before the other does not destroy balance.
Well, I agree that just because one came before the other, it doesn't destroy balance. But what would be the point of one coming before the other if balance is necessary? Because if we, as in this human experience, spend all of our studying we do all this studying to realize, oh shit, everything requires balance. Wouldn't that mean that in a more divine form of ourselves, we just already would have known that? So we would have been like, yo, let's send balance to this world, not send imbalance. Because if we send the imbalance, these things are mentioned in the stories. Like, people talk about Sophia and all these different things, right? Does y'all believe in Sophia?
Yeah, I teach Gnosticism. You know I do.
You know what I mean? Do any of the ladies that believe in Sophia? Absolutely. Michi says yes. Anybody else in the comments believe in Sophia? I think I like to think I'm sophisticated. There we go. Mocha believes in Sophia.
But in order to know something is balanced, you would need to. Okay, go ahead.
We're gonna get somewhere with this because everybody believes in Sophia, right? So how was the demiurge created? Let's not believe in half the story because it pertains to something we agree with. Everybody loves Sophia because it's supposed to be the woman being the manifestation of sophistication and wisdom and all those things. But the demiurge was created because Sophia tried to do what? She tried to create without a divine counterpart. So do we agree with Sophia or not? Right? See?
That's why I mean, honestly, I feel like what's the problem at believing that men and women was here at the same time? Because that's what I push. I don't push the men was here first or the woman. I want people to think that why isn't that possible for the creator to put both of us here at the same time? And we always been here. We always been like this. I mean, we are so-called niggas or Negroid people. We are millions of years old. We have always been here, men and women. You know what I'm saying? And then I feel like that we confuse a lot of that science for white people. I believe it was a lot of that science was created for white folks because they got here so totally different from us. You know, they ain't about to tell you how niggas really got here. They still trying to figure out our melanin. You feel me? So my spirit and my soul, my divine consciousness tell me that men and women been here together, side by side, equally in balance since the beginning of time. Because when you look out at nature, men and women trees have always existed since nature. You know what I'm saying? And you know, who put the seed in the ground? A creator, a person who created all things. You know what I'm saying? And just leave it at that and keep it moving. Anything else is an ego battle, is how I feel it.
And I personally don't. What's wrong with believing that women came first and men came second, and you can still maintain?
Because
hold on, Los. Because the fact is who can determine that it was imbalanced when women were here first? No one knows if balance was here before. No one can say it was imbalanced if women were here first. Just like no one can say it was imbalanced if man was here first.
Yep.
Nobody was pushed. Hold on, let me finish. Nobody was even pushing imbalance when they believed that man was made before a woman. The fact remains is that it is all everyone's own personal belief. I personally do not believe we came here together. I believe women was here first because nature says that you cannot make creation without woman. So I believe we were here
first.
Make
it without man either. You can't make it without man either.
Los, I didn't cut you off, Los.
I get that, but I'm cutting you off because Rashaud
said let's talk one at a time.
We have to draw the line between knowledge and personal opinion.
But Rashaud said let us finish one at a time.
There's no Mayan script that says what y'all talking about. There's no script that says what you're talking about. There's no Olmec script that says women came first.
There's no ancient that we came together either. So if we all learning ancient we came together either.
If we all learning and we all going off of gnosis and knowledge, then personal belief has no room when we're bringing knowledge.
But it is personal belief because there's no proof that we.
But what you're using right now is personal belief. What you're using is personal belief.
No, we're dealing with logic.
You just said everything you said earlier that you believe.
No, we're dealing with logic.
We're dealing with logic. That's what he said. He said my belief.
It's called logic.
We're talking about knowledge. My belief comes from knowledge, what I've read through the history books that I teach every day when I hop on.
Which is other people's beliefs. Which is other people's beliefs.
No.
So other people's beliefs.
We made our kids.
Are we not Indians? Are we not Indians?
No. We believe that we the father of our children. We believe it. We don't know. We don't know that.
Are we like?
I'm just saying, don't double speak. Don't say one thing and then say something else.
I'm just
dealing with logic. Logic is science.
I'm just confused. Like, are we not Indians? Are we not supposed to learn off of what our ancestors taught, which is the Olmecs? The Olmecs ain't never said shit about women being here first or men being here first. They always said that Sophia, Gnosis, men and women have always been here since the beginning of time. That's what they say.
Believed in Sophia,
and we come from them.
I never identified as Olmec.
And we come from them. Whether you identify as Olmec or not, that's who we come from as Indians. That's the mother civilization.
I can find my
But that's where we all come from as Indians, though. That is a
They
fact,
had
though.
civilizations before the Olmecs as well. They had civilizations before that. They had civilizations before the Olmecs.
Negro head says Olmec, where all the Indians come from, and the mound builders. Literally. So are we reading for knowledge, or are we just reading for personal beliefs? Because if you're an Indian, you come from the mother civilization. Pyramid builders, mound builders, right?
Everybody's coming off a personal belief.
He keeps saying, Copper, he keeps saying the mother civilization. The mother.
I have no problem with saying the mother civilization.
He didn't say the unified civilization, like how they trying to say it was a unity.
Women, Haley. I don't know what you're talking about. I never
said you hated women. I never did. I never said you hated women. I never said you hated women.
Here at the same time is what I say. So I have no problem with saying the mother civilization. So why you sitting here trying to catch me up in some shit you wrong?
Me pointing that out is not you saying you hate women. It's me pointing out the fact that you're acknowledging is a mother civilization. So if we all started unified like you're pushing, you wouldn't be saying a mother civilization. It wouldn't be pushed on one gender.
You don't even know who you are, Shawty. You knew.
That word done pumped y'all up.
I don't know who I am.
Over here. Don't nobody know you for real.
You knew over here. Man, stop that. I knew
you don't know shit that I teach.
Wait, hold on. Wait. I gotta mute y'all. Let's take a step back. I don't want this to get personal or nothing like that. Let's just stick with the information. You know what I'm saying? We don't have to do that to each other. You feel me? Now, what I did want to do, everything for me has like a rhyme and a reason. You feel me? Like I went through the information because I only believe in information. Right? Like I don't really care for like the opinions too much. You know, it's fun to talk about opinions, but you know, when it comes to opinions, it don't really get us that far. You feel me? Now, one of the things that was said was, oh, when men came first, nobody had a problem. Well, women had a problem. So when it came to women coming first, it seems men have a problem. So what is the balance with that? The true balance is, one, nobody really knows. And two, it makes more sense that men and women were just here, right? If we're gods and goddesses, it makes more sense that if planets were created, boom, like rocks turned into planets and they became amazing and they had trees and life and all this amazing shit, that in our god and goddess minds, we would look at that and be like, ooh, let's go down there. And 9 times out of 10, a woman in her divine right would come down here with a man, or vice versa, because who the hell wants to be anywhere without their divine counterpart? You know what I'm saying? Now, in a fucked up world, maybe women were on another planet and they were like, you know what, the niggas here suck, so we're going to Earth without them. And then niggas got into their space cars, their space Cadillacs, and we're like, nah, we're following y'all to wherever y'all go. You know, then we got down here and we kept fighting. Is that what we think happened? You know what I'm saying? It's weird. You know, and then God is infinite, nature, right? That's what we're getting back to. We're getting back to nature, the infinite and all that shit, right? And why do we keep trying to make something that's extremely infinite as simple as our mind is? And not even our mind, because our mind is infinite in expanse, but a lot of our thoughts, you know what I'm saying? A lot of our thoughts are based on propaganda. They're based on the influence from the TV, cartoons,
education,
education, weird ass shit we see out in the world, right? But the majority of everything that is advanced on this earth existed as masculine and feminine, male and female, whatever you want to call it. It exists as that, as we speak. And I bet you, I don't know what language lions speak or tigers, but I promise you, they probably don't be sitting around wondering who came first. They're probably just living. I only had this, my main reason to have this conversation was to see how people would react to it which is an imbalance, right? And to see how difficult is it for a bunch of wise individuals to come together and be like, oh shit, this argument is stupid. And it really just does take balance. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
This is like a social test. Like this is like a social test
at all times.
You know what I mean? I don't do nothing for no goddamn reason. You feel me? But the reason why I started with the parthenogenesis is because people believe in that shit. But me personally, I believe words are spells and curses. And I believe when you use words, whether you know what it means or not, when you use it enough, you manifest these symptoms onto people that you love and care about. Parthenogenesis, based on science, is ovarian cancer. It's a tumor, it's cancerous, and it's destructive, right? So I don't see why that is a word that women use to empower themselves when it's based on ailment. But y'all could go ahead and do what y'all gotta do.
You gotta go back to the feminist movement, because a lot of feminists was pushing it. That's how that got spread into the conscious community. That's literally where it came from. New age feminist conscious people who hate men and just trying to find a way to make men mutations. That shit started on Facebook around like 2010.
Mm-hmm.
But you know,
yeah. Hey, for you to know that, you definitely been around. You right though. Like a lot of people just use it to manipulate a woman. You know, they be brown nosing. So, you know, that's why some people be like, but men teach this information. Yeah. And, they doing some underhanded, they just trying to kiss up the women, basically. It's like, just like women say, a pick me nigga or pick me woman. Yeah, pick me nigga. Honestly. Because he's not being 1,000%. He's not being 100% honest. Like everybody keep bringing up nature. In nature, any indigenous plant has both parts, male and female. And when you separate that male part or that female part and put it, or if you just grow it by itself, the plant will be sterile. But if you grow it with another plant, you create a hybrid. So in its origin, it has both parts at all times, every plant in nature.
I told y'all that this was a social experiment. Niggas started getting quiet up here, huh? And now nobody want to prove my point.
No. Big C said it in the comments. I was waiting for Los to finish because I was about to say, you did this. You set everybody up. You made this a social experiment.
I did. Because like, to me, I feel like balance.
Excuse me, from your questions you asked early on. See, a lot of these people here now didn't hear that early on question. So they don't know why we're having this conversation. They don't know that you're the reason why we're having this conversation. So they think this conversation is just an argument, not knowing that you set this up from the very beginning because they was late to the party.
Indeed. It's been a setup since the beginning. Since the first minute I pressed go live, I had a question in mind to ask so that I could hear I wish everybody would have been here, you know what I mean? But they weren't. But I asked a question immediately to get the answers. I kept track of everybody who said what they said, and then I read everything I said, and then after I read it, everybody got quiet. And I was like, oh, well.
Hey, put it like this. If anybody was parthenogenic, it would be a hermaphrodite. Yeah. Like it's certain even fish that are hermaphroditic and reproduce without a mate. You feel me? But they'll tell us that a hermaphrodite human can't do that, but I disagree. You feel me? So that's the only way possible. It's just like even when it comes to reptilians, just like we got an X and a Y chromosome, well, they have a third. It's called the Z chromosome. Only the Z or the Z chromosome, the Z chromosome, those reptiles can parthenogenic. They can create by themselves. But like we already stated, it's just a clone of them. It can't produce anything different than that. It has to be a clone.
Oh, I know what you're saying. Oh, they said don't say that word again. I didn't realize that. Yeah.
Which word?
The two gender word.
Oh yeah. I guess yeah.
Yeah. Be careful, Morris. Don't say the two gender word.
Hey, so does anybody in the comments remember the word? It starts with a P that they said that parthenogenesis creates within the womb. Starts with a P.
And while you're asking, I told you, I don't know if it was happening to everybody else, but you was glitching real bad in the beginning. So like when you was talking about the grandmom playing dominoes and stuff, I kept getting echo and echo and echo, and you repeating yourself over and over and over. And then I was hearing another live come through, and I said, what the heck is this? So I came back in, the live was still there. I came out, came back, the live was still there. So then I was like, wait, who is this? And then I scrolled up once, and it was Rio. And I'm like, I've never even been in your live ever in my life. So why are you coming through Rashaud's live? So I had to reset my phone. So that's why I missed that part.
That's because they knew I was about. That's because they knew I was about to cook. Right
at that part, because it came in right at that part when you start talking about the parasites and you start talking about grandma playing dominoes and stuff. He came through the live, and I'm like, what the hell's going on? So I had to reset my entire phone. Like I had to really reset the whole phone because Rio wouldn't come out of my life, and I've literally never been in none of Rio's lives ever.
I don't know.
So that was shocking. I've just really learned about him, but yeah, it was coming through.
We don't have to.
It was kind of kicking you out. It was kicking me out.
Nah, but look. So what you might have missed was where they said they, everybody talks about parthenogenesis, so they be trying to prove that shit. But they said that parthenogenesis is the creation of a parasitic twin. It's parasites. It's created off of germ embryos, or germ is created from germs. It's a parasite. It's cancer. All these different things, So in my belief system and my thought process, fetus, fetu, right, which is the parasitic twin, right, that's destroying your actual child and destroying your body. You know what I mean? So one of the points that I was making is like, yo, why do we speak this shit on each other? Like we feel like it's coming from my ancestors. My spirit told me, but I was like, spirituality is not just a good thing. Spirituality consists of both positive and negative, just like everything else does. So even though you think you got a download from your ancestors and it's some spiritual thing, it don't mean it didn't come from the devil. You know what I'm saying? Or some negative influence out there, and you just accepted it because it came into your mind. But it's more so dealing with it was able to speak to your ego, so you accept it because your ego wants you to be the best, right? Definitely your alter ego wants you to be the best as opposed to other people. So if you get a download that makes your alter ego feel real proud of itself, you're going to use that 9 times out of 10 to destroy other people. And the condition they have our people in, we usually use our egos or our alter egos downloads to destroy the opposite gender because they don't want us to be balanced.
Yeah. Hey, brother, watch this. Like when it come to a pure woman, there is no way she could have a child without a placenta, right? She can't carry a baby without having a placenta. And the placenta literally comes from the sperm.
Well, don't say that, Morris. Don't say that. Boy, don't say that. Boy, they gonna decapitate you on here. Boy, don't say that.
You feel me? So if you ain't got no placenta, it's impossible to carry a child.
Placenta comes from the sperm. That's fact.
It's a foreign entity to the female body, just like the baby. It was not already there.
Is it just quiet?
I mean, hopefully. I mean, if it ain't logic, it ain't science.
I think they assume that some of us women didn't know that part, though.
Yeah, I ain't on that right now. Y'all good. Go ahead.
Now, if somebody has a Bartholin gland, You know, if somebody has a Bartholin gland and they're producing sperm, now maybe they can do it all. But like I say, I think that would only be a hermaphrodite.
Tap the screen, everybody. Let's get to 100. Hey, look, y'all. How y'all feeling? How's everybody feeling? You feel me? I feel pretty good. You know, I feel like the live went exactly the way I wanted it to. I'm loving the conversation. You know, it got a little bit heated for a second, but we brought it back, like, because this is the cosmic couch, and we really just trying to chill and. That there's no reason
again.
Hey, I don't know what word I keep saying, but I better stop saying it.
The two genders.
Hey.
Oh, okay, my bad. Hermes and Aphrodite. You know, we're gonna take it to its root.
Most of the celebrities we see are two genders.
Yes, it's called dual sexed. And they say 1 out of every 1,100 births is dual sexed. So that means it happens all the time, every day, thousands of people.
Yeah, you can't say that word on here. That's crazy.
Yeah, I've seen the live taken down for that, saying that word, and they weren't even in the community. So let me ask a question, and I'm glad he used that word, and that word came up again. So, have anybody actually seen a person, and if they did, let's use that word for this word for conversation's sake. What race were they? If you've seen it, I'll go first. I've actually seen one, but I've never seen one in our race. I had a friend growing up. Well, she identified as a girl, but she had both. And you know, we were children. We were young. I think it was like 10, and we was like, "Dad, that's not possible." Blah blah blah. Show us, and she showed us, and I was like, "Oh, okay." So have anybody ever seen it? And what race of person that you seen?
I haven't seen it, but damn, I wish I had my I had another photo that was talking about damn, I can't think of this doctor's name, but it's a doctor that created the gender roles. He played a major role in like the gender role creation, and one of the things that he did is there was a boy that was born like that, and he convinced the parents to raise the boy as a girl, and then the boy unalived himself later on. But this is the reason. He's one of the people that play a role in, you know, these kind of arguments that we have. That's another reason why I brought it up, but I forgot to save that photo. But I wish I would have had it. You know what I'm saying? Because I keep trying to, you know, I'm really trying to point out the fact that a lot of the shit we argue about does not come from our people. We just happen to think it does for some odd, strange reason. That's why Los was kind of making a great point when he was like, this shit don't come from our people.
Exactly.
Why are we?
Yeah, it's not ancestors, you know, speak. You know, they've never said this type of rhetoric.
Shit come. Well, I ain't never seen one, but historically, those folks over there in the mountains produce most of them, and then you got a few of them in Africa too. But we don't produce them amongst our people. We don't have that birth defect. The only birth defect we have is extra pinkies and making albinos every now and then, but that's about it.
But see, that makes sense because you said in some of the Africans, because we know who the Africans really are, and we know who the whites really are. So that makes sense to me. But like I said, I did see one as a child. And then if Zaza seen East Asian, we know where they are.
No, right there in the Dominican Republic. Right there in the Dominican Republic, you got these like certain groups of boys. Oh no, my bad. Girls that turned into boys around about 12 years old, around puberty, for some odd reason. I don't know what they doing to them people.
Remember who they are? You don't remember the group of people? You don't remember the group of people?
It's in the Dominican Republic. I could pull it up.
That's interesting. Yeah, we hit 101,000 likes, y'all. Y'all did y'all damn thing. That's because it was drama in here for a little second. That's why y'all did it. Be honest. Nah, we thank you though. But yeah, so I'm just curious. I'm not saying I disagree with anything Los says because Los is my guys, my babies, my love. I love him. He knows that. I just, like I said in the very beginning when Rashaud asked the question, I said, No one has 100. All I said was no one has 100% proof. So we're all using some type of belief based off of the things that we researched and studied. I said that in the very beginning. So I agree. It's pointless. Although Rashaud set us up, y'all didn't know that he asked that question in the beginning. It is kind of pointless because it will cause division, which will cause unbalance. I just said that we can't say that if one came before the other, we can't say that was unbalanced either. That's all I said. That's all I was trying to say, rather. But I'm not saying that it's not possible that both energies came at the same time, too. Well, actually, I said that because Rashaud was confused. And somebody said cloning, and I was like, that's not what I said. I said energy, divine energy is my answer, and Rashaud is my answer. But that's what I was basically saying in the beginning as well. So I agree with everybody. But you know what I also wanted to say, and I think a lot of people forget. Rashaud says something that made a lot of sense too. Because I don't know if somebody said something about immaculate conception about Jesus. And the problem is that the church taught us that meant that Mary was a virgin. And that's why people tend to believe that Jesus didn't have a daddy. And that's not what it means. And only people that really studied outside of that Bible knew that it just meant to be pure. Because I can go into some stories and tell you about Mary.
Rashaud, you can put me on the big screen.
Hold, I got you. Oh, he got you.
Yep. The extraordinary case of the Guevadoches. All right. They're talking about the discovery of this small community of Dominican Republic. What they say, now they're saying that they're boys, but they're, look like girls as far as, down there and everything. I'm gonna show you the other, the article. Yeah, sometimes born looking like girls and only grow penises at puberty has led to the development of a blockbuster drug that has helped millions of people. What the hell? Yeah, but Johnny lives in a small town in Dominican Republic when he and others like him are known as Guevadoches, effectively translate as Dose. Yeah, Dose means 12. Yeah, so we came across Johnny when we were filming for a new BBC series, Countdown, which looks at the development of the womb and how those changes, normal and abnormal, impact us later in life. But yeah, I don't be capping. Y'all can look deeper into that, the Guevadoches. How many of y'all heard of that? I'm just saying.
Yeah, I ain't never heard of that.
Me neither.
Look like real girls. Well, they were girls. I don't know what happened.
Swarthy, you've been quiet.
Oh yeah, peace, Swarthy.
What up, peace. Shit, I'm chilling. I'm wondering how the hell y'all even got on this type of topic.
Yeah, parthenogenesis.
You didn't hear me say Rashaud set us all up.
Yeah, I did, but I had just came in. But earlier today, I was looking at some research. I was talking about this dude that came on the live. I was on this white dude live years ago, about 4 or 5 years ago. And this dude popped in the live, and we was kind of having like a weird conversation about this same topic. And that nigga came in like, yeah, I'm a human chimera. And we like, huh? And I researched what it was. It's a lot of people that's chimeras. And what I mean by chimeras, they'll do, like, let's say you get a blood transfusion or a bone marrow transfusion, it can change your DNA. And when it changes your DNA, you become a chimera. And they attest, like, they have different studies where they study certain women and they check their children's DNA, and it be a totally different DNA than the DNA of the women. because once they get that transfusion or a bone marrow transfusion, it changes their DNA. That's what makes them a chimera. But it goes even deeper. They got human pig chimeras. They even got human monkey chimeras where they take monkey cells and inject it in you, or pig cells. They got even one with mouse. Look into that shit. That shit is right along with the topic y'all talking about, and it's almost like some genetic gene splicing type shit. Splicing type shit. Yeah, the world is weird, especially that shit Morris just showed. I ain't never seen no shit like that.
Some crazy shit going on out here.
It's some crazy shit. And look, we send our children out in the world and expect them to find a mate that matches them. Shit, when you got people in the world with all kind of different little genetic disorders and genetic differences. Yeah, them genetic them experimental D-rugs they do, and they put in niggas and change your gender.
I'm getting ready to start reading dang, I just lost my train of thought. I'm going to start reading the dang y'all. The oh geez, I can't think right now. The organizations, dang, I'll tell you what it is in a minute. The organizations that Trump stopped, and one of the organizations that he stopped is when they was doing experiments on trying to make animals a part of the ABC community. I'll say that word to be safe, and experimenting on trying to make men have menstruals. So I do know, from being a former geneticist, I do know that receiving blood transfusions can alter your DNA. I just have never personally, and I always tell you when I don't know something, I've never personally seen it where it changed someone's gender. Now I have heard that it can change someone's gender. Yeah, I heard it can, but I never seen it in study.
This
It's changing your
chimera
DNA.
It usually happens
I said that it changes your DNA. Yeah.
Yeah, it says chimerism usually happens when women are pregnant with twins. That's how it naturally occurs in nature. But they also can shoot you up with some shit.
And watch this. This is how you know us and Caucasians are not the same species at the core, because we can't have a we can't give them a bone marrow transplant. They can't give us one. Yeah, your body would not accept that.
That's why they work. That's why they work so hard. They work so hard to try to convince you that they are the same with you, so they can breed with you, so they can access what they need to heal.
Exactly.
Hey, that's why they gave us that origin, because with that origin they it would make you think that we're all the same, or everybody's the same and all that shit. You know what I'm saying? But it's not. That's not the case. Everybody's not the same. Now, do we all exist on this earth? Yes. But that doesn't mean we're all the same. You know what I'm saying? Just like all animals ain't the same. It is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
We ain't come from no goddamn monkeys. So parthenogenesis ain't real.
Because if you pay attention, because if you really pay attention when you drop gems and you talk about history, white folks don't have a problem with the whole, we Indians and shit. They got a problem when we be talking about how we're different from them. And that's what really makes them mad. You know what I'm saying? But it's just facts. But if everybody know that we different, then you have to think about science and biology for everybody totally different. And it gets too complex. So they collapse everything and say, fuck it, we're gonna get all y'all the same medication, the same woo, 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 but it's gonna be for the YT people benefit, which is gonna fuck you up as a melanated person because we're not the same as them genetically or none of that. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of this science is for them. If you read articles talking about birth rate decline, we know that ain't us, that's them. But a lot of our people, they'll read some science shit and they'll think it's for all of us because they think we all the same because we all come from a monkey and shit, Homo sapien shit. But hell no.
In actuality, they do teach us that we're different, but they only teach us that we're different in certain things. They do try to teach us that we're pretty much the same, but they do recognize there are a lot of differences between the two. But even down to I learned I didn't learn from anybody on social media about the Rogaine shot. I learned about that from studying biology. Like I learned that they if we mate with them, the woman has to take the Rogaine because the fetus.
Yep.
Rogaine, yeah, sorry, because the fetus will basically eat itself, or the placenta will eat the fetus. So you know, it's like,
Yep.
yeah, they reject it, and so
She said, hey, Copper said Rogaine. I was like, who the hell out here trying to
Rogaine.
date some bald-headed white women?
Hey, this ain't erectile dysfunction.
That, and at the same time, I'm looking at the Doge website. I'm looking at Doge. It was Doge, I was trying to remember. At the same time, trying to read Doge at the same time.
Hey,
watch
check
this.
it out though.
Yes.
But check it out. But what you just said though, it circles all the way back to what Rashaud said about parthenogenesis, parasite fetus, right? It's
right.
eating the host. So the only people who can them, you feel me? So when you talk about that, that's them. And if you know, they are also the species that actually has the most cancer. You know, they get cancer and everything.
Right.
Sun and shit, motherfucking gluten take them out, you know.
Hey, put it like this. Like white man can't jump, right? You know?
Right.
So obviously in this comparison of a rat and a bat, we would have to be the bat because we can fly, you know. They would have to be the rat. And people would assume that a bat and a rat are related, but they are not even the same species. You feel me? They can't even, you know, procreate together. Like it's like they nowhere near the same. But we would assume they are by looking at them, you know? But nah, that's not the case. You feel me? So people think we the same as them, but they can't fly, you know? And I really see that with a lot of the world, to be honest with you. Even other black people. I ain't gonna lie, like other countries, they black people can't even do what we do. It's crazy. You ain't gonna find a short man that can dunk unless he probably from over here. You ain't gonna, like, even, you know, a 7-footer from over there can't jump. Our 7-footers through the roof.
Hold on. Hey, can y'all send me some roses, y'all? I'm trying to grow a garden in the comment section. So, you know, send some roses, 200 of them, because we trying to attract the pollinators. You dig?
I seen you one. I ain't really, you know, I ain't trying to give no man no flowers. You know what I'm saying? I throw some stars.
Oh no! Hey, look, they ain't for me. They ain't for me, Los. They for the bees.
Nah,
they for the bees.
hey, but Morris, but you right though, because honestly, I've never seen nobody outside of our race that have like fat people who can do backflips.
Exactly. Come on, man, amazing.
I ain't never seen it but us though, and they be fast too. Like I'm talking about my brother. Like my brother's 6'3", 3 something, and that boy can move.
And I bet you can dance too. Fat niggas in our culture can dance their ass off.
He love dancing.
Light on their feet, like you don't even hear them walking when they walking because they so light on their feet.
Mm-hmm. Like you ain't. Let's see one of us. Like we just different. Like you might be short and can still dunk. Like look at Nate Robinson type shit, you know?
Yeah, it was a little nigga with one arm. The nigga had one arm was dunking on niggas.
Exactly. Yeah, he raw as hell too.
Yeah, the nigga with one arm.
Yeah.
They were trying to put the nigga in the NBA.
No, he in the NBA. He in the NBA. He in the G League. He in the G League.
He's still dunking on niggas right now as we speak. He probably just dunked on a nigga right now.
Yeah, exactly. That nigga nasty. I ain't gonna lie. With one arm, he doing what niggas can't do with 2 arms.
Oh God.
I seen that nigga do a crossover. I said he's about to go right. Y'all know he's going right.
He can only go right, y'all.
Fade away everything. You feel me? Step back.
I see that nigga cook niggas. I'm like, how this nigga can't be stopped? Y'all know too. Only got one arm.
And I'm gonna tell you one of the main reasons why he cooking is because other people's egos is like, oh yeah, bro, I'm about to go ahead. Come on, bro. Nigga got one arm, bro. He ain't about to do nothing. Then you get on that court, nigga, and cross your stupid ass because he fast and shit. Like, man,
And the
you
nigga got
cannot
bounce.
underestimate our people, man. We know how to adapt no matter what happens to us. We gonna adapt real quick.
No, I'm saying like put it like this: since nobody's perfect, right? Like the fact that you can see his imperfection, that means every other way that motherfucker perfect, bro. I'm telling you, for real.
That nigga had 2 arms. He'd be better than Jordan.
Man, period.
But you're right though. We the only people on the planet that got these abilities, no matter what our body look like.
For real. Like ain't nobody else. Come on,
It has
man.
everything to do with your genomes. People don't listen to me.
Yeah, that's why they study the genetics of our people. And why they trying to get niggas to take DNA tests and all this other shit. Plasma banks all in the hood.
Yeah. Definitely right.
Every city got a plasma bank.
Like,
full of
bro,
niggas.
I don't know why people think it was one Henrietta Lacks when they not gonna never tell you. They never gonna tell you again.
They Henrietta Lacks in a nigga right now.
I'm talking about every week they found one. They're like, yes, you know. Shoot, I'm talking about a baby just came on Earth, got it. They like, yes.
What?
Yes.
And then
found more.
And then these people just default. Whole community, because how are these people still, man, like, do people know they hit us with every type of goddamn, we on TikTok, but bio WA, you feel me? And we ain't never been sick, y'all. We just out here chilling. Like,
they was spraying stuff in the hood for years. They would come at 3, 4 in the morning with the little truck, with the niggas with the hazmat suit, and they be looking at niggas like, this nigga get up every morning in this fog and go to work. The nigga been working for 17 years straight.
Hey, the summer fog is crazy. Watch, come April, it's gonna be this weird fog in the sky that nobody could tell you where it came from. And it don't look like, it ain't no cloud. It looks like
I'm gonna say.
looks like germs everywhere.
I'm gonna say. You know what a fog is? Because fog is a low-lying cloud. You feel me? So to me, it kind of seemed like, I don't know if y'all ever heard certain theories on gravity that, of course, it's not gravity, but it's dark matter. And dark matter, like basically, the planet is always going up, like it's traveling through space upward at all times through the dark matter, and that's why we like kind of stuck on the planet.
Look, that's what they don't want to talk about is dark matter. The sciences that swear they teaching about dark matter only give you surface level shit about dark matter. They don't really know.
Exactly.
Real talk. Yeah, they were trying to do that CERN shit. Hey, but on that CERN, if you went to the website, they were trying to locate and figure out dark matter energy with these CERN machines. It was on the website and everything, plain as day, clear as day, right in front of your face.
Yeah, they studying the hell out of that shit. They don't know what's the source of it, where it come from.
They said it's heavier. They said it's heavier and lighter than everything, and it's everywhere.
Yep, everywhere.
And now I think if you was to build like some type of spacecraft or a spaceship, wouldn't you need to be able to harness dark?
Oh, nigga, like I think dark matter is our collective consciousness.
I do too.
Or it's the aura of the, all of the planets.
Source energy. I think it's source energy. Whatever the source.
it's the name, but not the name in the sense of the name, but the name in the sense of nature, right? And that's what we have in common. That's why the further we get away from nature, the further we get away from health, prosperity, justice, etc. Right? And then in the etymology of land, it said land. Land is a euphemism for Lord, right? So in the Bible where it says revenge is mine, saith the Lord, you could read that as revenge is mine, saith the land. You know what I mean?
Oh wow, like nature. All right, so like one of the things that I always talk about that a lot of people don't know about is kudzu. Kudzu is it's like a root, but it grows wild, and you can eat it and all that, but it's almost like the texture of a collard green or whatever, but it is a invasive species. It unalives any other plants or trees or anything.
Yeah, Jamaicans love that. That kalayu, or whatever how you say kayayu. Yeah, Jamaicans eat that all the damn time.
It's healthy, but at the same time, it'll take out your other crops, and it can't. They cultivated it in Asia and brought it over here in the 1970s, and like it's maps where you can see where it first started. Like it started on the East Coast, and now it's spread right across the whole country.
Hey, that makes sense because people don't realize that to be Jamaican, you got to have some Asian ancestry. Just like a Puerto Rican is triracial. Yeah, like the races that consisted on that island to make what we call Jamaican, yeah, they had a little Asian in them.
Hey, who is this that just joined the panel?
Who at the top?
Hugo, this is Hugo. This is me.
Oh Lord, have mercy.
Oh, hi. Why you say that, bro?
What is that all that about?
What's happening, Hugo?
You say, "Oh Lord, have mercy." About what? About me?
Nah, you good.